Hey Brickmaniacs, welcome back to another Designer Studio episode. Today we're taking a look at kind of a collection done by Mary Wilson. We affectionately call them the desk defense systems. You know, in case you're keeping pesky coworkers away, you can have a little phalanx here. But she's done quite a few of them with some help from outside designers as well, so we thought we'd take a little look at the collection. Where do you want to start?
Oh, that's a
Back
good
in
question.
history? Build our way up?
Yeah,
Sure,
let's
fair
do
enough.
that. Because there's like a decent spread.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
Yeah.
Getting up to the modern day, kind of like, you know, start here, then go here and here and here.
Yeah,
work your way
for
up.
sure.
Cool.
So none of these got designer desk videos.
I don't
correct?
think so. Maybe
Okay.
maybe the trebuchet did way back in the day, but it's been a while, so
Yeah.
we figured we'd circle back and take a look at it. But yeah, let's start there. So this is obviously quite a build.
Yeah, for sure. So this was for our medieval month last summer.
October or something, yeah.
Yeah. And this was very fun to build. This one it was kind of interesting because normally when I build things, I try to find blueprints of
sure.
everything to get it scaled like as perfectly as possible. But for trebuchets, they made them all sorts of sizes.
Mm-hmm.
So this one was like a little bit more freeform. I basically did research on like the perfect like ratio for all of this because there's like a certain length that this beam should be, and then like where certain points where the weight should be and where it should throw from and all that. So that was kind of like my blueprint for this, is like I was drawing it out on paper and trying to do the math. Also trying to get it to a scale where it's like, yeah, like a minifig could stand next to it
Sure.
and like it's good. But like they also made trebuchets that were like this
Huge,
big in comparison.
right.
So it's like, you know,
So
kind
you were
of.
going for functionality.
Yeah, right. So I was trying to get it. I used the Lego weighted brick as my counterweight, and I kind of just based it all off of that. So just like spinning it around a little bit. Right here, you can wind up the rope and like let it go too. Oh, if it doesn't get caught on things. So you wind it up, and then you have a little lever down here so you can stop it, so you can like pose it.
It's armed, yeah, right.
Yeah, it can be armed and ready. It comes with a little boulder. I volunteered at a school, and I brought this in so then they could like build catapults and trebuchets.
Mm-hmm.
And some of them were more interested in the rock. They were like, "How did you build that rock? That's so cool." So, you know, it's a very nice
Guys,
boulder.
I built a trebuchet. Why are we focusing on the rock?
But it does come with some ammo, and it also comes with another piece of string, so you can like tie something else.
Really fling it, yeah.
Yeah, you know. So I'm not sure if I wound it up correctly, if I'm being honest, but we'll see. The thing is that with real trebuchets too, this little pin changes angles, and that's how you get it to go like farther. So it'll go up, or it'll go like straight into the ground. So if you have this and you're like, oh, it's not flinging very far, like make sure you adjust this. It's really quite accurate because they did have to adjust that pin. They would crank it something so it would like change.
Cool.
Yeah, let's see if I can actually fling it. It's kind of hit or miss depending on who wound it.
Trebuchet joke.
I know. Some other people in the office just picked it up, and he was like, "I'm going to throw it at you through, like across the cubicle wall." So
Cubicle wars.
yeah,
it's a thing here. It happens.
you know, everyone has their desk weapon.
Exactly.
It doesn't need more explanation than that. Yeah, other than that, it's all in reddish brown. There weren't any printed parts. This would be primarily made out of wood anyway.
Right.
So just
There's a
went for that.
wood tile pack if you were interested in making it look a little bit more accurate, but
Yeah, for
otherwise
sure.
the build itself, I think really the functionality is what people were looking for in it. You know what I mean? It's
Yeah.
something that can actually fling, which is really cool. So, and obviously a very interesting piece if you were going to do a mock.
Yeah,
you'd
for
have to
sure.
have it.
The one
Cool.
that we didn't bring is the onager, and that sits next to it. Very cute. They match. I like that.
That's phenomenal.
I'm just gonna move this over
That
here.
is phenomenal. Yeah, let's
Yeah, next would be the flak 440.
Zwilling, yeah, right.
Yeah.
It's,
Yeah, so this build was by Andrea, Josta 11, and I project managed this, so we're gonna count it as part of the
Yeah,
desk
why not?
defense that I worked on. This is a massive build, as you can see.
very Star Wars-esque. Actually, a lot of this is, to be honest.
For sure. It's like, this was definitely one where like I had it on my desk and people walked by and they're like, what are you building? Like, and then, you know, you can aim it at people. So there's actually, you have like two axes, so you've got left and right, and it does turn all the way around. And then you've got up and down as well,
cool.
so you can aim it in both directions. The way that it goes up and down is super interesting. There's Technic tread in there. angle it, maybe you can see it better. And then some gear. So you're moving the bottom gear. It's just,
Sure.
It's fun to see that use because a lot of times we're just using like Technic gears for like the front of wheels or like spokes or actual sprocket things in tanks. So it's nice to be able to it's like a functional gear system.
Yeah, right. It's like a testament to the engineering behind the build itself.
Yep, for sure.
That's really cool.
And then there's like a crazy amount of detail, which I honestly don't even know how he got that on there because there's not that many photos of it.
Sure.
But he did a phenomenal job. We've got some...
Andrea, do you have a flax willing? How did you get this?
It's like secretly
You have some sort of collection we're unaware of?
I wouldn't be surprised. Like the level of detail in this is crazy.
It's very, very cool.
And yeah, so we've got some prints on the side. There's gauges on either side. There's places for minifigs to sit, and then there's like kind of this catwalk in the back, I'm pretty sure, to load it up.
Which really illustrates how massive this thing was in real life. I mean,
Yeah,
if that's
right?
a catwalk, just think of how big those barrels are.
I know, you just think about it. I struggle with that sometimes, like building this small and then realizing how big it is in real life. It's just
Yeah, I bet.
sometimes it doesn't translate right, but this one's like, that's crazy. Yeah, I think that's about it for this one.
Sweet. So moving out of the World War II era and into the Vietnam Cold War era,
yeah.
the Davina S75.
Yes.
This one doesn't literally have like the function necessarily, but at the same time, if you were to put this on your desk, well, people know.
Yeah, no, for sure. So this one, it does, like you can aim it. There's nothing to like, there's no like Technic piece, but it's like so skinny. I don't know why you wouldn't just move it with your hand. And then you can also aim it up and down using this bar piece. So
Cool.
You just kind of stick it in there and aim at whomever you'd like to. This one is a super interesting build because this part all comes off. It splits into two pieces because that's what it does when it launches into the air.
Oh, sweet. So it's even more accurate beyond that. That's very cool.
So this whole part comes off. And so I think it's really interesting building, so this one was also Andrea, building just like within this tiny little tube.
Seriously.
There's like, somehow he got like all the fins in there and like it still connects to the bottom. And a lot of those are like there's bars or axles in between connecting things. And then these are technically illegal techniques. This is using a plate with a clip like squished in between two 2x2 round.
Sure.
And when those go opposite directions, that actually makes them like stick together. And then it also has this sticking out of it.
It's very clever.
Which, yeah, it's super convenient if you're making something with 4 fins. Yeah, so this one does split apart. Oops, not there though. I mean, it does, it's Lego. So like when you launch it, you can, I guess, maybe you can hang it from a string. I'm not really sure how you're displaying this, like, as it's in pieces.
Yeah, it could be like a fire-based mock or something more functional. I mean, there's a couple of directions you can go with it for sure.
For sure. And then, yeah, then you can just, like, connect it back on here. And it sits on this, which you can aim at people, which makes it desk defense.
That's why it qualifies, people.
That's
why it's in the video,
That's why
okay?
you need to know. Except I'm struggling with it because...
No, it doesn't have to go back together.
No,
It's all
you're
right.
right. It stands like this by
I'm
itself.
sure the GHQ will be really happy with us when we just deliver their model back in pieces.
That's true. Yeah. And then it has these fun legs that fold up. If you need to fold up
Oh yeah,
legs
look
for
at
any
that. That's
reason.
cool.
So that's that guy.
Now we're moving on into the modern era, which we
Yeah.
can kind of tackle like all of these at once.
That's true.
Because it
I
is
think
kind of a system. You want to start with the OG and
this
then...
would be first.
Yeah,
and
okay.
then this was conceptual, and then this is like the most recent version. This little failing sky. This was like one of my first ones I made.
Yeah.
Yeah, so fun. This one also functional. You can take off the top, just like the new version. And then you got the little Technic.
I love that.
and
The way
aim.
it snaps is so like true to real life and the way
Yeah,
it
no,
moves.
it really does because it just like targets it on something. It
Yep.
just, whoo, yeah. And then we've got these awesome 3D printed parts. So we've got a fancy little barrel that spins if you want to spin it. And then this like fancy looking cage that's around. We also had a custom brick arms like ammo chain belt that was made for this, so it like fits underneath because the whole thing just like kind of wraps around it.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, and then, well, I'm gonna take this one apart. So
Okay.
this is like basically it. It's got like the flare sensors on the side.
R2D2 looking helmet thing.
Yeah, R2D2 looking like radar body. And then we got those prints on the side. That's about it for this guy. Plus
Super sharp looking though.
Yeah.
That was the one where I was originally like, okay, that's just like awesome when someone's walking over to your desk like, hey, do you have a minute? No, I don't actually.
No, yeah,
Talk to the
I mean, this
phalanx.
is when you were like desk defense. You know? Dylan coined the phrase desk defense. And then okay, so after that, this is George.
Yes, George Hicks.
Yeah, it was mostly George, and then like I put this little guy on top of it. That was for the most part.
But I
Otherwise-
love how the play function stayed.
Yeah.
I think that's so
See,
cool.
that was actually super fun, is because George gave me this truck, and he's like, great, like, can you put, like, your Sea-Wiz on top of it? And I was like, okay. And I was like, wait a minute. So, like, this, like, electrical box is essentially the same, but it's, like, all the way moved to the back. So I was like, so how do I get the Technic,
Yeah, especially
like,
with the
all
gaps
way?
in there. It's like, what the heck?
Yeah, so it's like, let's see. I don't know if you can see it. Oh, yeah, you can. So there's, like, an axle running all the way from like the middle to the back, so that's how it functions. And like I had to make sure you still have room for like the wheels and everything else like, structurally. So that was kind of a fun challenge, and I appreciated that. George was great to work with, you know, would let me do anything to his model if I needed to, so I did kind of gut part of it.
Don't
so
let that go to your head, George.
I didn't mean it. Yes, but functionality, you can aim this way. It's like the same exact setup. This one actually, I believe only like 2 prototypes of this were ever made in real life.
Sure.
This was like Future War Month for
Right.
us. And one of the engineers who like worked on it stopped by the store.
Oh, that's right. That's
Yeah,
right.
it was really cool to
I
meet
forgot
him.
that
He was
story.
like, it's so awesome to see this as something, because like after the first like prototypes, it like didn't go any farther. Just because I think it was something to do with like the power and the cooling system. It was like way
Interesting.
too heavy they wanted this to be like electric powered truck. And I just don't think it like all
Didn't work, sure.
worked together. But yeah,
But
great
it worked
truck.
together in Lego.
Worked together in Lego, great. We've got some like side detail prints on like the bottom. We've got some other on this side. It's kind of funky to see this in tan, to be honest. Like especially
those
after
prints?
building this.
Sure.
Yeah, like with the prints, it's like, I don't know, just weird to see it in another color. This works the same way. Like this back part opens. This part can come off if you have larger fingers. And then. Did this one come with a crew?
I think it's got at least maybe a minifig driver.
someone in there?
I can't remember, to be totally honest. It doesn't look
Yeah.
like it.
I can't. Let's see. No one is in there right now, but you can fit figures in there as you're building, and then like this top hatch can open too. So
Sweet.
yeah, you can stick them in there. Yeah, I think that's about it for this guy.
And then finally,
The
the new one, the C-Ram.
the C-Ram.
It's the phalanx, but with missiles.
Yeah, that's basically it. They had like the Ram, like a missile launcher, and then they had the phalanx, and they're like, what if we? So we've got this little guy. So it has like the same exact radar dish, slightly different sensors, but basically they did update like former phalanx Sea-Wiz systems into this. So some of them literally just have like the same top, and they're just like, whoop.
The
put that in
prints
there.
are incredible.
Prints
Like,
are
holy
incredible.
smokes.
Okay, yeah, so we got the same side details on there, but then on the missile launch system, Slam was like, oh, I gotta do that. And I was
Yeah,
like, of
that
course
looks
I'll let
really
you
cool.
do
I
that.
haven't seen that.
And it looks really great because without it, it's kind of just like a smooth box, which if you watch the sit rep when I went over this is
In
more
prototype
exciting,
phrase,
you know?
right.
Yeah. So each side is actually slightly different. There's like, of course, Slam gets those like little details on there.
The detail man, Slam.
Of course. Yeah, but those look really great. And then we also have, there's like more details on the side of the sensor. Also, it's just like, I'm always like, Slam, like, what do you want to do for prints? And he's like, oh, well, that and that and that. And I'm like, okay, well. So we try to find a compromise.
Yeah, you gotta love it when people get excited about it, but also rein them back in.
Yeah. And then so the missile actual like caps on both sides, those are stickers.
Yeah, a lot of cross elements there, I
Yes,
suppose.
so many cross elements, and some that span like the entire length of it.
Sure.
I kind of want to take it apart
Do
to
it.
show you.
We got time.
Yeah, we got time. So I'm also going to take this apart just to show you.
The inner workings.
This
It's
is-
all about to be revealed.
Don't tell anyone. Okay, yeah. So It's actually super simple, just running like an axle through, and then having those 2 Technic gears. This axle actually isn't really attached to anything, but it needs to sit and float freely, and this gear keeps it in place. Like it can wiggle around, but it's not going to fall.
It's not going to fall, right?
Yeah. So that's how that part works. But honestly, the part I'm like most proud of is that this is built using like fun snot technique.
Oh, sure.
Side.
Studs not up on
Studs
top.
not up. Okay, I'm just like going to completely destroy this. I'm not going to put this back together. Well, I could, but I won't. And yeah, also, so I had to add these printed parts after Slam put these stickers on.
Oh, nice. That must have
And
been
so-
fun to do.
Well, I was like, should I take them completely apart? Like, you kind of do need access to it, but the stickers are super durable.
Oh, good. Nice. That's great to hear.
I was absolutely super impressed because I was like bending them and like trying to like, they don't come off super easily because they're,
Once they're on,
very
they're on.
sticky. But if you do need to access this, it's okay because they can like bend in half, just in case.
Speaking from experience.
Speaking from experience, yeah, okay, so most of it is built using these, I don't even know what they're called. They're like bricks with a rounded top
Sure.
and plates coming off of it. And so the whole side, I'm just gonna
Go for
absolutely
it.
destroy this.
People want to see.
Yeah, okay, see this one I'm talking about. It actually bends and it doesn't like show up really after it's bent. So these are the bricks. They're the actual printed bricks too. The ones with round and then there's like a plate sticking out of it, which is perfect for this because I needed solid sides and then a hollow center so I could get like the snot technique in there. And see, I'm gonna do this and I'm gonna be like, oh, I could just build this at home. It's like, no, you gotta get those prints. Joke's on you.
It'll
You gotta
be
get the
close, but
prints.
not the same.
Yeah. Okay, so these are the pieces that I use. So this is kind of a newer piece. It's like half tile, half plate.
Yeah.
And this one is like studs on 2 sides, tile in the middle. And so I just flipped them like this. So then it was like tile to tile. Crazy. But here's the I'm like actually really proud of this. It was fun.
You should be. It's awesome.
And so like it's connected by like 8 studs in each direction, and it just kind of goes in there. And then you can build off the other side because you've got studs up and this one studs down.
How cool is that to see, though? Because something like that, when you look at it from the outside, you never know what's going on inside that gray tube.
Yeah, right?
Until you take it apart, and then you realize, like, holy smokes, there's a lot more going on here than just, like, a circle.
Yeah, for sure. And like for this, I was trying a few different things, but like this measurement of using these like curved bricks is like so accurate. I was like, I have to do this. Like, I have to find some way to make it work. And see how it just like, it just connects. You can't even tell that I bent
It's very
this
clean.
sticker.
No, you're not wrong.
Yeah. And then the rest of it, I mean, it's just like studs up here and studs up here so I could get like this slope detail and the tile down there without using any of those super expensive like inverted tiles or anything.
Look at that, saving you
So
money at the
good.
same time, Mary.
So
Can't believe
good.
it.
I'm doing my best for y'all.
That's
Oh, no.
awesome. It's all good.
I'm going to grab it.
That's the last piece of the puzzle right there.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, honestly, I think that's about it after completely taking it apart.
And showcasing
I think
it all.
I've covered everything.
That's all right. That's the point of the designer studio. We have no minifigs for this one, so we won't have Landon in. So that'll probably do it for the episode, you think?
Yeah.
Cool. All right. Well, there you have it. That's the designer studio episode for the desk defense systems designed by Mary Wilson and Company. Thank you very much for watching.